Hello and welcome back to Father02 Plays Sunless Sea. Last time we got acquainted with the journal portion of the game, learned who we were, learned who our friend was, and we took on our first mission, or first couple of missions, which was to take a colonist north and to discover a place. Let's see, what was that place called? Golder's Morn in the Corsair's Forest. It's said to be close. So, now we're looking at our ship, and this is the other portion of the game. Exploring and driving a ship somewhat akin to Sid Meier's Pirates, but a little different. So as you can see, we have our speed in the top left corner. As well as we have the ability to, let's close this. We have the ability to, there we go, put full power to the engines, and this consumes more fuel, and overheats the engine, and it can lead to our engine exploding and hurting our crew, and that's not good. The music is quite incredible in this. And look, sunken city. There's many dangers at Z, so we have to be careful and on our guard. We can turn off our light, and that will conserve fuel, but as you can see, our terror is going up more. This will become more and more red, green to red, and the redder it is, the faster your terror is going up. Or no, that isn't. The color indicates how quickly this fills, that's right. So if it's green, it will fill slower. If it's yellow, it's filling faster. If it's red, it will fill much faster. And when it fills all the way up, you gain 1 terror, I believe. So you want to be careful of that deep at Z. You don't need a mutiny on your hands, that's for sure. Hunter's Keep, a quiet isle, a grand old house. A hump of dark rock swathed in mist, like 100 other Unterzee islands. But there's a grand house, windows aglow, lawns, impossibly green and lush in the false starlight, raked gravel paths. You stand on the docks as the sea nudges the ship's sides. An unexpectedly warm breeze carries the faintest trace of lavender. So now we have our first encounter at a port. We can reconnoiter the island. Well, let's start at the top. Present yourself at the house. They will have heard your ship come in. Why hide? Walk in the garden. Take a couple of burly sailors with you just in case, but the gardens are tranquil as moonlight. Reconnoiter the island. Plunging cliffs, soft green lawns, a well tucked away in the fold of the grounds. Anything else? So this will get our port report. Those are important and will get us lots of resources that we need to continue our voyaging at Z, because it could be quite lucrative as well as quite expensive and dangerous. Spy on the house. This place may not be as simple as it seems. A very modest challenge. It's bales. We have a 75% chance of success. So first, we'll gather our port report. The sea's silence. Ships rarely come here. Nothing changes, even the weather. The house is the heart of the island, the house and the sisters. But the Admiralty may be happy to know that nothing's changed, at least. You now have one of this, a port report, Hunter's Keep. Let's take a modest challenge. Piano music drifts across the terrace. You peer through a half-open French window into a grand parlor, grand in size, if a little reduced in style by dust and neglect. A dark-haired, pale-skinned young woman bends earnestly over a piano keyboard. Another fair-haired, but unmistakably her sister, sprawls on the sofa with a book. A third sits by the fireplace, staring sorrowfully into the embers. Soon, she says. The piano music falters and stops. We'll go hungry, and then the end will come. For me, not for you. The pianist raises her eyes from the keyboard. Hush! If we don't speak of it. She frowns. Has she seen you at the window? You withdraw. You've gained 40 fragments. So we've leveled a little further. You know something of Hunter's Keep. And we succeeded in a Veils challenge. Now we can present ourselves at the house. Knock and enter. A maid with smoldering topaz eyes shows you into the parlor where 3 young women wait. A visitor, the youngest cries. The next youngest chuckles. The eldest sighs. Do excuse the indecorum, she says. Visitors are rare. You are very welcome. I am Cynthia. The noisy one is Phoebe, and the cheerful one is Lucy. You're in good time for lunch. Will you join us? A tiny breeze stirs your hair and dies. You are acquainted with the sisters of Hunter's Keep. So now we can choose one of the 3 sisters to have lunch with. What's this one? Ah. Okay. Well, we can't do that now, so let's read the others. Luncheon with the sisters. Cynthia is the eldest, melancholy, pensive, occasionally dramatic. Lucy, the middle sister, is sunny, restless, prone to giggles. Phoebe is soft-voiced, watchful, unpredictable. Well, I mean, Lucy sounds like the most fun, so let's talk with Lucy. A daft tale. Lucy leans over and whispers to you confidentially. A complex story about a butler, a pig, and an inheritance. You don't follow all the details of the plot, but somehow the pig ends up in an attic and the butler in a vicar's bed. Candles flicker, dishes enter and leave, and the wind butts gently at the window panes. By the time the plum pudding arrives, you're as cheerful as you've been in months. We lost our hunger, so that's reduced. We now have God of the Z's attention, stone. We've gained 1 supplies. Sorry, readjusted my mic there. And that's all for now, so we can no longer do anything here. Pardon me for a sec. Ooh, had to cough. You are acquainted with the Sisters of Hunter's Keep. Okay, so that will lead to more in the future, I bet. Well, back to Z. Now we have a map. But we have to map it out, which is quite interesting. Now, it seems empty now, at this point, but there is things. Let's see. We have a ship over here. It's a pirate. We better just steer clear for now. We'll do some combat, but we're not ready to take on pirates this early. So see, our terror's gone up. Oh, has the pirate spotted us? It looks like it's time for battle anyway. Direct hit. So we could fire before it's fully realized, but that's inadvisable because you may miss, as they did twice. Well, we got hit. We're hit for 4, but it could be worse. Let's see what we got. The ship is yours. What will you do with her? Loot and scuttle her. She's a vile old vessel, and these Z's aren't safe. Take what you can and move on. Lean pickings. These pinnaces don't sail far from their hidden harbors, but there's something at the back of the hold. We now have 1 cache of curiosities. A stout crate. Crates, the source of sustenance, the fundamental element of cargo. Unlocked when a cache of curiosities is. You've gained 5 supplies, and we've lost our cache of curiosities. A crate of supplies, hardtack, and water, and an unexpected box of nails, and a would-be wit remarks that the nails look tastier than the hardtack, until an officer's glare silences her. Well, we have a lot of food, that's for sure. Maybe we should have bought ourselves more fuel. So we can use these lights. As you see, our terror's going up yellow even with our light on. But if we get in here, or stick close to the coast, it's not as scary, and it's green, and it actually goes down. So we can use that to our advantage and keep our terror low, which is very advisable. It's not easy to reduce terror a lot of the time, so you want to keep it low as often as possible. I don't think there's any reason for it to be high, except for maybe a few encounters. You're not going to see other monsters or things like that. At least not as far as I know. I guess I have not beaten the game, so I don't know everything. We're coming up on Venderbite. This is where our first mission ends. On the horizon, a sickly yellow light glimmers for a moment, then fades. So, let us make port. The trouble with tomb colonists. You've brought this decaying immigrant north. Now what? An absent friend. It is everything I imagined, he tells you breathlessly. But there's someone missing. Please, bring her to me. A vague commission. She went off to Mangrove College. She needs to get out of London, but Venderbite is just as safe as the college. And I'll wager she's bored of mud by now. Look for the shady sort in the Mangrove College, somewhere in the south of the Unterzee. You've lost one tomb colonist. Bring a shady sort to Venderbite from the Mangrove College. So we now have another mission. Few die in fallen London. They come here instead. Okay, so we can't provide him with what we have promised yet, because we haven't left and found that place. So let's go to the tomb colony of Venderbite. On deck, you can hear the sound that 1,000 bandaged dead make as they shuffle and cough. It's something like the world's most restless concert audience, or the world's most plague-ridden cathedral. A dusty glass of wine. Venderbite is not the most promising place for shore leave. Too much decay, too little light, too many bandaged, walking corpses, few companions of easy virtue, no cinnamon, no recent newspapers, very little pickled cave herring. So we don't have enough money or enough terror, but that would be one way to reduce terror, but it could bring it up as well. Chances are not great here, as you can tell from the description, but you could get lucky or see something altogether unique, I would think. Explore Venderbite. Here they favored candlelight over gaslight. The shadows are swagged like cobwebs. The tomb colonists stand still enough to be mistaken for sculptures until they laugh or cough. One building in 3 seems abandoned. We'll probably do that. We'll gather a port report first. Visit the first curator. Z captains. The first curator gives audience. The first curator is responsible for the preservation of the tomb colonies. It has been here much longer than London, like all the oldest tomb colonies, but even tomb colonists to solve in the end. It's time to close. Okay, so that's a ongoing mission, I believe, for this area. We'll go to that as well. Gather gossip. Who's plotting what out in the tomb colonies? Along the coasts of the Unterzee, it's remarkably hard to die. The decrepit and nearly dead who leave London become tomb colonists and settle here in bandaged peace. But they don't give up their ties to home or their politics. You gather a haul of complex clues, enough to keep your contacts in London interested. So we now have another port report. Now let's explore vendor bite first. The little chapel stands alone. You poke your head through the door. The walls are deep red, just this side of scarlet. A ruby-tinted window at the back glows with steady light. An electric lamp behind the glass, rare and expensive, but this is no gaslight. No one is here, and yet you have the sensation that only a moment ago someone must have been. So we could leave. The shade of red would be unsettling enough in a dowager's parlor, daubed on the walls of an empty place of worship. Nothing cheerful will happen here. Make an offering. Drop a coin into the empty offering box and pray to the power of this place, whoever it might be. Make an offering with half-familiar rites. Moving as if asleep, you place a candle at each corner of the altar. So unaccountably peckish. I believe that's obtained by eating questionable meat. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Cannibalism. Search the place. What can you find? A straightforward challenge. Well, we should search the place as our mirrors. Is that mirrors? Yes, our mirrors is higher. Enhungred. There is an altar, a block of basalt. There are pews, a pulpit. No Bibles, no hymn books. The stained glass window is the red of cochineal. An inscription on the lintel of the door reads, "For I was an hungred, and ye gave me meat." That is all. Your crew are eager to leave. No one looks back. You've gained 1 terror. We're now at 4 wary. That's all for now. You succeeded in a mirrors challenge. The higher the quality, the higher the chance of success. And we gained some experience. And it looks like we got ourselves a secret a while ago. Yeah, that doesn't sound too nice. So we should probably leave there. Let's speak with this first curator. No more light, the obsequious steward cautions you. The curator is terribly afraid of moths. He opens the door and you step into the near darkness. A pair of luminous lamplighter beads buzz in a latticed ivory tube. There's no other source of light. A bandage shape larger than a child lies crumpled on a couch. It lifts its head with obvious effort. It takes several seconds for you to distinguish its voice from the soft buzz of the bees. Listen to the whispered request. "See, Captain, Silkskin, not much left of me. I will go into the Grand Sanatorium. Bring me colors, 7 colors. Pay well." Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. One hears the name whispered here and there in the arcades of Venderbite. Accept the commission. "Thank you, this poor flesh thirsts for the colors." Or depart. Well, let's start with this one. 7 colors. Cosmogorn, Irigo, Pelican. Steward has list. Find them here and there across the wide black sea. Okay. Ask about the Grand Sanatorium. A long, low chuckling. "Oh, Silkskin, you don't want to know." The chuckling becomes a cough. "We don't die here below, not unless we go to sea. So we needed something else, somewhere to end." Interesting. Well, we'll accept the commission. Sounds like it could be, yeah, difficult. Let's try it, though. No more words. It collapses, rustling back on the couch. Even the effort of speaking seems to have diminished it a little. The audience is over. As the door opens, it shrinks from the fingers of light that reach across the floor. Outside, the obsequious steward nods. "The book?" "Yes, the book." He hands you a slim, illustrated volume. The curator is old as dust. "We will all be grateful if you do it this one last favor. So now we have all these pages. I believe we can read them. And they'll give us hints on where to find the parts of the Neathbow. So let's continue. And check our journal. Is it in there? In our hold? Yeah, here it is. The Neathbow. A book for children. One page is devoted to each of the colors of the Neath, which are not found on the surface. There's another lovecraftian thing. A color that can't be described. Return to the curator with each of the 7 impossible colors in hand. The book's pages give you clues, but you'll need to seek far ports. A page from the Neathbow. Aposion. Awakes Aposion, the blue of memory and brightest coral. Cosmogone. Sea lights Cosmogone, the color of the remembered suns. The fecund, the fetid, the fungal, these flourish in the glow of Cosmogone. Gant. G is lost in Gant, which remains when all other colors are eaten. Gant can be found where shadows are myriad. The writing is very excellent in this. A page from the Neathbow. Irigo. I is for Irigo. No one remembers why. Irigo colors the forgotten corners of home. So, London. Pelican. P drowns in Pelican, the color of the deepest Z. Someone has scrawled in the margin, beyond the gate there is a sea more sunless. Maybe the surface, because I know you can go there. Pages from the Neathbow. Violent. V marks violent. When blood is shed in a spired place, violent. Ink is employed for the most desperate treaties. A page from the Neathbow. Viric. Behind your mirrors, V names Viric the color of shallow sleep. Okay. Well, I believe we're done in Venderblight, so let's take a quick look at our map here. Here's London. So we have some more fuel. We'll head north. Oh, we've got Z-bats. Fire upon them. Have at you, bats. Oh good, no damage. Let us investigate. A bat swarm defeated. Little leathery corpses lie scattered across your deck. The rest of the swarm vanishes into the neathy dark. Gather up the corpses. They are succulent with stolen blood. Into the pot. Dispose of the corpses. Their mere touch leaves you shuddering. This will slightly reduce terror. Well, let's reduce our terror. Over the side. Their eyes are still fierce in death. Zailers sweep them overboard with brooms, careful not to touch them. You have lost 2 terror. Worth it? Oh, that you see at the edge of the screen, I think, is a fairly scary creature that I don't think we want anything to do with right now. So if you're running out of fuel, you can turn your light off and take more terror, but reduce your fuel consumption. There we are. We don't want to fight that. Not now. So let's turn off our light and get close to shore. Distant bells. Something awaits you in port. So that means there's a story to experience. We move slower in the snow here, but there's some type of story to experience back in London. So every so often after you leave, you get a new quest or thing back in London to experience. It's good to stay at Z at least long enough to have one of those. And compiling port reports is really just your best bet in getting echoes and other rewards that you need to be out here early on. It can be very hard to gather resources if you don't understand that port reports are your main revenue. Even later on, you can compile them and they're worth less because you've already explored the places, but it's better than nothing. We've arrived in Wither, a chilly city beside a waste of salt. Wither, behind the great arch over the bay, the pale wastes stretch, white and silent as the face of the moon. From here, you might almost imagine they were snow. North of the city, the salt pools fizz with unlikely color. So, we can explore the town. Wither is quiet, chilly town of grey stone and closed courtyards. The people are neither exactly unfriendly nor exactly hospitable. They have the irritable habit of answering a question with a question. Here and there are odd sights tucked away. Gather intelligence. The citizens of Wither enjoy questions, so much so that they always answer a question with another question. This can make intelligence gathering frustrating. Shore leave in Wither. The folk of Wither are quiet and sly and mystical. They subsist on cave fish and the dust-burrowing beasts of the waste. Their beer, however, is adequate. So, we'd have a 75% chance of that going well. But we don't have enough echoes anyway. We're going to compile a report first. Are you asking for any particular reason? At what time of day? Is that your hat? Might it be 6? It could be 6. Eventually you cobble together enough implication and supposition to compose a report. That's very funny. Well, depending on your sense of humor, but I find their dry wit and ridiculousness very entertaining. So let's explore the town. A walk by the shore. The black sea whispers on the beach. Another soft sound is audible above the waves. A castaway, in an iridescent green gown, waves vaguely from a rock near the shore. Sorrowful sights waft across the water towards you. An idiot castaway? A mermaid? Of course not. Mermaids are a preposterous myth. Approach. The poor woman won't answer your hails, but she's obviously in need of assistance. Avoid. She's probably a pirate, or a drownie, or someone's feral aunt. Let's approach. The poor woman won't answer your hails, but she's obviously in need of assistance. That's all for now. Whoa. What is that? The serpent's lure. A fanged mouth rears from the water, big enough to bite a boat in half or swallow a pig. The woman contorts and slides into the water. She's the tip of the monster's tail. This will be untidy. Fling it bait and move on. Well, we don't have a strange catch. 15% chance of success. Obliterate it. It's a formidable beast, but you're formidable too. Flee. A high-risk challenge. It is always preferable to fight Z-serpents from inside a ship, not from inside a serpent. Withdraw as best you can. Jeez. Oh man, 15% or 20%. No guts, no glory. Let's try and kill it. A terrible toll. The beast's scales are proof against pistol shot, and it wreaks terrible havoc before you manage to bring it down. You harvest its bones and scrape its hatching young from along the rocks by the shore. You now have 3 Stygian ivory. We lost 2 crew. We failed the challenge. And we have 1 harlot fry. Well, goodbye, sailors. You fought bravely. I believe we're done here. Well, this seems like a good place to end the episode, so please leave a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I hope you enjoyed, and I look forward to the next episode. Have a good one.